Hey, Frog fans. Welcome back to Talking Frogs podcast, episode number 5. I'm your host, Jamie Plunkett, here in the Flying T studios with some very special guests this afternoon, the founders of the Flying T Club and two very familiar basketball faces as well, Eddie Lampkin, Emanuel Miller, that's Jeff Patman and Ches Williams. Thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast today. I really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So we're going to start with Jeff and Ches, and I just want to hear from you guys a little bit about the origin story of the Flying T Club, which for those of you that don't know is one of the more prominent NIL collectives that TCU currently has going. I'm a big fan of you guys. Obviously, you've partnered with Frogs today here at the Flying T Studios. So tell me a little bit about the origin story for Flying T.
Sure. Well, thanks for having us. We're excited to be here. I'd just say the Flying T Club, really, I'd say started probably in the late August of last year. Right before football season started, we were getting ready for the first football game and talked to Coach Patterson and wanted to get his thoughts on, getting some kind of NIL organization put together, which he was in support of. And so he had his the guy heading that up for him, Todd Wright, reached out to us in late August. And so we moved pretty quick on it, I do have to say. So we had lunch with Todd and quickly reached out to a bunch of our friends. One of the first persons I reached out to was Ches on this thing, and Ches really helped me get going and kind of put a game plan together. You want to maybe mention about kind of next steps?
Well, one thing I think it's helpful also is just to kind of tell you who we are, and so we're both second generation Frogs. My mom and dad went to TCU. My dad grew up in Fort Worth. My mom down in the Valley. I went, obviously went to TCU. My wife went to TCU, and I have a son at TCU, so we're pretty passionate about the school, really bleed purple. Small, fun fact is Super Frog and Patman have never been seen in the same room together at the same time. So I don't know. He's
very interesting.
Very interesting fact.
Right.
But we're very passionate about TCU and especially athletics. And so when all this stuff kind of started coming around, we scrambled and said, we got to figure something out. And so that's kind of the genesis of it. And we can talk a little bit more about, how that came along and where we ended up. So
Emanuel and Eddie, for you guys, when you started to get involved with Flying T and other NIL opportunities that you have, tell me a little bit about what the benefit is for student athletes to get involved with NIL organizations.
First one was it's a blessing. You get experience and to meet new people, not only with the athletes, but with alumni all around TCU. We know TCU has one of the best alumni bases in the world. And to just be around them, get their knowledge of what it's like to be in that type of world, what it's like for their daily lifestyle, just those little things. I think it's an amazing opportunity. The next opportunity that I said earlier is me and the athletes. Being on the basketball team, it takes up a lot of time and it's a lot of responsibility just being in that aspect of NCAA college basketball. So being able to meet football players, baseball players, all these other athletes in this one place at these events that we attend to, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I say for the alumni, we build a good bond with everybody now. Like it's bigger than if we just going to say what's up at the game. Now we can go have dinners with them, see their family, play with their kids, meet everybody in their family, and just the opportunity is big. I love that college basketball, college sports came to that.
So it sounds like, obviously people know the financial aspects of it, right? Yeah. And that's always kind of going to be front and center. But it sounds like with Flying T, the relationships are equally as important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jeff, do you want to talk to that a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So I think, the club's based upon, our ultimate goal was to get our players in front of our alumni. We hope all of our players can eventually go and play football or baseball or basketball forever, but that's not always the case. And so, our goal is we want these guys to be successful for the rest of their lives. And so that's really the purpose of what we're doing here is getting everyone together. It's for Frogs by Frogs. That's kind of our slogan for Flying T. And so, I think it really gives the everyday fan the opportunity to get to know these guys better. I mean, we see you guys on TV having great basketball games, and we wish we could get to hang out with you and have more fun. And so, we really wanted to have unique experiences where we got everyone together and networked and became friends. And you never know what's going to come out of situations and events like that.
So tell me more about the events specifically. What goes into planning those, and then what's kind of the expectation for someone who shows up to one of those events?
Yeah, so a lot of work goes into planning these events, I will tell you. We have Todd helping us now, which has been super helpful, but up until that time, it's probably what differentiates the Flying T from any other NIL group. It's volunteer-led. So we say, by frogs, for frogs. We're putting these events together and putting in a lot of man hours just to make something that's really unique and special that members can basically join the club, and then they get to spend time getting to know these athletes and hearing some interesting tidbits and different pieces of information from not only the players but the coaches. So it's really just a fun, unique thing that really a typical fan couldn't find anywhere else.
So when you talk about these events, because you mentioned them too, man, the one that I was at, rooftop of Lot 12, was pretty fun. I saw you guys hanging out and playing a little bit of foosball, so I've got to know right out of the gate, who is the best foosball player on the basketball team?
We played twos. It was me and Chuck against Mike Miles and Micah Peavy, and me and Chuck are easily the best foosball players. Easily. I don't think anyone competes. But it's those little things, them little games that are at these events. When we think of these events, you think of formal, more strict, but it's cool having these little events to play with your team. You could play with donors. You could play with just anyone. Just have fun and get to meet new people.
Yeah, Eddie, for you, when you show up at an event like that, everybody, I think, across the country kind of fell in love with you during the tournament run, especially in that Arizona game. But when you encounter people at these events now, what are those conversations like for you?
Really just talk about last game. I love your energy, everything. They love, like, who I am, just me being myself always.
Yeah.
That's like a big thing for me, just always being myself. And then I have a good relationship with everybody at Flying T everywhere. So I fit in good.
One of the things that I've always heard from TCU coaches and athletes over the years of covering the program is the aspect of family, just constantly coming back up and coming back up and coming back up. Does it feel to you guys that kind of like the NIL organizations are just a part of that growing family for TCU?
Yeah, for sure. I say, yeah, that's a big part of family. Because, like, if we would have been with him right now for this day, like a year, 2 years ago, they would be like, they paying us for this show. Mm-hmm. So now we can just do this and don't even have to worry about nothing. So we building a good family.
Yeah, I agree.
You think that's, you talked about relationships already.
Yeah, and I think, quite honestly, I don't know how these guys do it. I mean, graduating from TCU and going to making your grades, that's just a full job in itself. But then having to go to practice every single day, and when do you have time to go make money and, go and buy clothes or a car? And so, I've always kind of, really never understood how these guys are able to pull it together and do all that stuff. And so, they work hard and they deserve everything they get. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cool to see all this stuff and it's, and doing it the right way and all having a good time doing it,
So it's by frogs, for frogs. Mm-hmm. What can frogs do to get involved with Flying T?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can go to our website, which is flyingtclub.com. We have several options on there. You can be a donor. We accept donations from $1 all the way up to, $250,000. Or you can join. And there's 3 levels of membership. You can join. There's $1,000 membership, $2,500, and a $5,000 membership.
That's annual.
Yes, and what we recently did was we just added a function on there to where if you wanted to pay on a monthly basis to help you kind of with those dollar amounts, you have that option to do that as well. So, our goal is to get as many people together as possible and continue to grow this thing. The more membership we continue to get, the more student athletes that we can continue to bring on. I don't know if you noticed on social media last week, but we just added 4 of the women's sand volleyball gals to the club as ambassadors. They're going for the national championship this week, so we're really excited for them. Hope everybody pulls for them, and yeah, good luck to them for sure. So
crazy.
Yeah.
Competing for national titles, kind of the dream.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So to see some folks at TCU doing that, that's really cool, and to be able to support them in this way,
yes,
is really neat as well. So I think one of the big maybe stigmas or stereotypes around NIL is that you have to have deep pockets to be able to get involved. But it sounds like you guys have found a different avenue for fundraising that allows folks who maybe can't fork over $50,000-$60,000 in a year can still contribute and participate,
Sure.
and see a benefit
Absolutely.
from that.
Yeah, and that's really where we want to, NIL means a lot of different things. Basically, there's opportunities to connect companies to athletes. There's a lot of sponsorship opportunities. What we've really wanted to do all along is to be the place where the individual fan and donor can feel like they're doing something and to be a part of NIL. And we do that by creating these really unique experiences. But we have fans that have donated, $25, like Jeff said, all the way up to really large amounts. And so being that one place where people can go and know that they're supporting these guys, that's where we want to be.
So I've got to ask you guys, because a former competitor in the Big 12 just signed a massive NIL deal with Miami, Nigel Pack, $400,000 a year for 2 years. When you see Nigel getting a contract like that, are you excited for him? Kind of what's going through your mind when you see guys getting contracts like that?
Yeah, I'm excited for him.
Yeah,
I'm both excited and humble. Excited that the fact that someone like him can make so much money at such a young age, and I'm humble enough to know that I need to be in that position. I realize what he's done is setting this tone for a lot of athletes across this country, and I think with our work ethic, we could get there right alongside him.
Yeah. Is that something that guys are talking about pretty frequently these days? Is you kind of see what everybody's making and you're having those conversations, or
really our team, we don't even be. We'll just look at it and be like, all right.
Yeah.
It's just another thing.
Yeah, we don't be worrying about what other people getting. We worry about ourselves.
Yeah, especially, with you guys, the way that you're situated right now, all 5 starters coming back for next year. Well, I guess Damien's declared. Hopefully he gets a good grade from the draft, but you're bringing a lot of guys back either way. And so what are your hopes and dreams for TCU basketball in the fall of 2022?
Win a national championship, easily. That's the biggest goal. That's the only goal that we have in mind. With all the returning players, we went from one of the youngest teams in the Big 12 to now one of the oldest teams in the Big 12, and that's scary, man. It's scary. It's scary for a lot of teams out there in this country. People talk about competitive teams. Well, I think TCU basketball is a stone. Like, we are the most competitive team in this country, and we show that on the biggest stage, March Madness, against the number 1 seed. And I think looking forward to next year, all the home games are going to be exciting. We have the family base coming back, and we know we have the support of the world, not only the world, but TCU itself, and I think that's amazing.
We all know Mike was fouled, by the way. He was definitely fouled.
He tweeted it the other day, right? He said he couldn't sleep. He was still thinking about it. So, you talk about the support of TCU. Talk about what it meant for you guys to see the students show up the way they did for you guys at home games this year.
It was big. It was real big because, beginning of the season, it was nobody in there. It was you could just see it. And then when everybody went home, it was like locals coming. It was like, all right. And then after we played that first Big 12 game, everybody started coming. It made us play harder. We was just trying to get used to it. We lost. I think we had lost one of the games at home. We were just so into the crowd because we not used to this.
Yeah.
And we playing, and we just love it. We love the crowd, the support, everybody.
Yeah, I say a big shout out to TCU Barstools too.
Yeah.
Dawson did a great job this year getting everybody to come show up, and Owen's stepping up next, and you can really see a big difference this year and the effort that those guys put together to get all the students together.
Well, it's really funny that you mentioned TCU Barstool and Dawson, because that's my episode 6 guest on
good.
Talking Frogs.
Good.
So nice little
That'd be a good
segue on
conversation.
promo.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to talking to him. So I want to pull back and talk about TCU generally in the NIL space just for a bit. So Jeff and Ches, when you see how TCU is positioned currently when it comes to name, image, and likeness compared to other schools in the state, other schools in the Big 12, how well is the university positioned right now from an NIL perspective?
I think, you know what, I think we're doing a really good job. I think there's obviously been a big rush, a big push in the last 6 to 9 months to get something going. I think the school's not necessarily doing it. I would say though, but the involvement of the TCU community is really kind of the best way of saying that. I would say, we feel like we've pushed and moved as fast as we can to get this thing up and running. And we've got over 120 members. We've gotten over $2 million worth of commitments. And so we've done really well in getting all this going. And so, I would say there's compared to other schools, I think we're a little ahead of people, to be quite honest. I've got friends from Baylor calling me and Tech, kind of figuring out how we got going so fast. One of the positive things that we've done is we started this off as a nonprofit organization, which really helps things out. And we have filed our paperwork to become a 501c3, which will benefit the members and people making the donations and corporations that want to partner up with us. And so, so far, there's only been one university that was successful in getting that. And so we're right in line with all the big universities on what they're trying to get done. And I feel like, we're being really aggressive, and I'm satisfied with the progress that we've made and we're going to continue to make, quite honestly.
Yeah. So what's it sounds like things are going really well right now. Where's the growing edge?
I'll tell you, we've got some exciting news that we're about to come out with, I would say, in the next couple weeks. All right. We're going to have some.
Can we know about it? You can tell us.
You'll know first.
We're going to turn off the recording.
You might be modeling something. Huh? And so, anyways, we've got some exciting news. It hadn't been completely approved yet, but it's coming, and so which is going to be.
You'll be the first to know.
Oh, can't wait. Well, let them be the first to know. I'm fine with being second.
But
I'm fine with
Dawson. You can't know. Dawson can't know.
Dawson can't know. Okay.
Barstools always know too. He can't know.
No, there's some really exciting stuff around the corner, and then I think there are a lot of people that will come on board as soon as we get some of the 501c3 stuff in place, and I think the floodgates will open further. We've seen just interest and excitement from ordinary fans that maybe don't even have season tickets necessarily, or don't certainly donate to the athletic department, but are jumping all over this stuff because they like to have the access directly to the athletes and feel like this is something really special that we're creating. So that's been pretty exciting.
So it sounds though, like all of these events that are happening in DFW, what's happening for folks who want to get involved with Flying T that maybe live out of state?
It's a great question. So really the way we've structured this is we have 4 events a year with one annual party. Our annual party is going to be August 24th at Joe T's, right? So that we're trying to have an event that kind of gives everybody time to get organized to come in. The good news is North Texas is centrally located. We've got a very large airport, so it allows people to get in and out. So we're hoping by having an event that several months out will give people time to get in town for that. One of the goals of partnering up with Frogs Today was we could come and do these, which will allow us to get information to our members because they can't be here getting to meet these guys at the event. So that was one of the strategies that we put in place to help members that are out of state.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right on.
And we have people donating that certainly are not in this area, but they just want to show support. And so that's been very helpful.
Support's crazy.
Appreciate them.
You feel like the support's been really good so far?
Yeah, it's been amazing.
You've been to the event. What'd you think?
I thought it was awesome. I thought it was great. My wife had a great time. She was talking to everybody. I think she came up to Emanuel, was asking him to come read books for her kindergartners at school. And
I can't wait.
He's gracious enough to commit to that. But, I think the events are really fun because you have an opportunity, even just, as a casual TCU fan, not only to meet the athletes, which is a great benefit, but to just make some connections with the larger TCU community. Like you're going back to what you were saying, Jeff, about building those relationships within the community and becoming stronger just as a family, to use that word again. I think it's a really fun opportunity,
right?
Know
that many TCU alumni.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud to announce that Todd Wright, who's running our day-to-day operations, came up with a great idea. June 15th, we are going to have another event at Joe T's.
Okay.
And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking TCU's current athletes, and we're going to be having our Block T, Letterman Association, ex-players. We're going to be getting everyone together to where we actually have a Flying T kind of alumni, current, past players coming together. Because I think I think a lot of these past players can give great advice to you guys as far as wrapping up your career, making sure you're studying, and life after sports, right? Yeah. So we're trying to do stuff just besides. We're trying very hard to bring the whole TCU community together. We know if we can do that, it's all going to turn out good.
Last question for you guys. Desmond Bain, Memphis Grizzlies playoffs right now.
Mm-hmm.
How fun has it been to watch a former TCU athlete just excelling at this level in the NBA?
Desmond Bain's talked a lot amongst this program. Coach Dixon loves him. The whole coaching staff loves him, and we not look up to him, but we view him as one of the role models that set the tone for TCU basketball. He came in for 4 years and played his heart out, and that's what he's doing on the biggest stage in the finals. And I think to see that from our eyes, from his perspective, it's crazy.
Yeah, I say the same thing. Like, it's crazy because, like, me and him got a good relationship. So, like, I think I said, like, the middle of the season when I was playing, I was doing good. He was texting me. He was like, you doing good. Keep being yourself. And it's like, wow, he playing in the NBA, killing, but he telling me I'm doing good. So that I would, like, show something. So, like, I'm very proud of him. I hope they can. That's who I'm going for in the NBA right now.
So, I mean, it's cool that a guy who's had that much success early on still takes the time to be a part of this community.
Yeah.
And I think did I see you on the sidelines of the Mavericks game the other day?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. All right. What was that like? Seeing
it
those
was
guys
crazy
compete?
because, like, Jared Butler, I talked to a couple of the players came and talked to me because I know a lot of people in the NBA. So, like, I talked to a couple, so, like, it was like, dang.
Yeah.
They about to play in the, like, NBA playoff game. That was my first ever playoff game.
Oh, really?
And, like, Mark Cuban came and shook our hand and everything. It was crazy. I didn't even know he's the owner, right, Mark Cuban?
Mm-hmm.
He on the sideline with him during the game, like, standing up. They dunking, he jumping up. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, Mark Cuban's known for that kind of thing. If you Google him, you might find a picture of him working at Dairy Queen, paying off a fine, too, at one point.
I do remember that.
Guys, I just want to say, you got one more thing? Yeah, go for it.
Too, and I think Jeff would agree with me. The school must be doing a great job with these young student athletes because they're super impressive. Every single one of them we've met, we've just been blown away. And I know how I was at that age, and there's no way I could conduct myself in such a way that you guys do, just in building these relationships and just how you treat everybody. It's been very, very impressive. So I just that had to be said.
Of
really.
course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for coming on the
thank you for having
podcast.
us.
I really do
Yeah.
appreciate it. Folks, if you want to know more about the Flying T Club, you can go to flyingtclub.com.
That's right.
That's right. You can
Flying T.
sign up for a monthly membership or an annual membership, or if you want to talk to Ches and Jeff about giving a larger donation, you can do that too.
I know y'all want to see me.
Yeah, you want to come to the events and see Eddie and E-Man and all the football and basketball players and baseball players and now beach volleyball players
That's
as
right.
well that have signed on as
to come.
ambassadors.
Yeah.
More to come.
More to come. They've got a couple big announcements coming in the next couple of weeks, so you're going to want to pay attention to that. And as always, you're going to want to visit frogstoday.com for all the latest in TCU athletics right now. Sign up for just $1. You don't want to miss out on that. Come hang out with me in the Lizard Lounge. We'll get all the scoops and rumors going together. Thank you for listening to another episode of Talking Frogs, or if you watched on the YouTube channel, listened on Spotify, or wherever you can get your podcasts. Thank you. I am your host, Jamie Plunkett. This has been Talking Frogs Podcast, and we'll see you again next week. Go Frogs.
Go Frogs.